Forget the promotion, the lottery win, the latest gadget. We are diving into sources today that argue, well, scientifically, that external success is mostly a distraction.
Yeah, and that your most powerful tool for well-being is something entirely free and internal, your capacity for kindness.
It sounds almost too simple, doesn't it?
It does, but that is the sort of radical finding we're synthesizing in this deep dive. Our sources present this really remarkable collaboration between two worlds.
Two worlds.
Yeah, you've got the ancient spiritual discipline and, the personal practices of the Dalai Lama. And then that's paired with the clinical rigor and scientific findings of Western psychiatry, specifically through Dr. Howard C. Cutler's work.
Okay, so our mission here is to pull out from this synthesis a systematic, kind of practical roadmap.
Right, for achieving greater happiness and maybe even more importantly, for overcoming life's inevitable suffering.
But not by escaping it.
No, not escaping it, but by repurposing it in a way.
What's genuinely fascinating, I think, is the consensus here. You've got Buddhist philosophy and modern cognitive neuroscience basically landing on the same fundamental truth.
Exactly. The shared reality is simple, really. Every single one of us aspires to happiness, and, well, not one of us wishes to suffer. That's universal.
And so we're going to explore why chasing those external rewards is often, futile, and how cultivating kindness is arguably the most potent tool for your own well-being. And now it's backed by some pretty cutting-edge neuroscience. Okay, let's unpack this counterintuitive idea first. The sources state pretty clearly that happiness is determined far more by your state of mind than by external events. How can that really be true? I mean, we're conditioned to believe the next purchase or milestone will fix everything.
Right, and it's explained through this concept of the happiness baseline, or sometimes called hedonic adaptation.
Hedonic adaptation, okay.
Look, success, like, say, winning a competition or getting a huge pay raise, or even, on the flip side, tragedy. It might shift your mood temporarily. You feel elation or deep grief.
Sure. But almost inevitably, our overall level of happiness tends to sort of migrate back to a specific preset point. Our feelings just adapt to the new normal incredibly quickly.
And the sources give some genuinely compelling examples, some data points, to illustrate this adaptation.
They do?
They looked at state lottery winners, people who got these massive, life-altering windfalls.
Yeah, the kind of thing everyone dreams about.
Exactly. And researchers found that while, they had an initial high, the excitement wore off. They returned to their usual range of kind of moment-to-moment happiness surprisingly fast.
Surprisingly fast. And conversely, the exact same principle applies to catastrophe.
Right.
Individuals struck by catastrophic events, think cancer, blindness, paralysis, they typically recovered their normal or near normal level of day-to-day happiness after, an appropriate adjustment period.
Wow.
It just shows how powerful that internal mechanism is, pulling us back to that personal baseline. So, okay. If wealth and status don't guarantee happiness, what does shape our level of satisfaction? The sources seem to point squarely at the comparing mind.
Comparison. It's a huge determinant of our contentment. We might be thrilled with an income of, say, $30,000. But then we adapt to that, and we're not truly happy until we're making $40,000, especially if we look around and see others achieving more.
It's that keeping up with the Joneses thing.
Precisely. It reminds you of H.L. Mencken's satirical definition of a wealthy man.
But
He said, a wealthy man is one whose income is $100 a year higher than his wife's sister's husband.
That says it all, doesn't it? The comparison game is clearly rigged. It ensures we never truly win.
It does.
It's almost comforting to realize we'd probably be just as miserable complaining about a $2 million salary because a teammate earns $4 million.
It highlights the futility.
So what does this all mean practically? For you, the listener. It means we can actively modify this mental trap.
Right. By practicing contentment.
Contentment.
Precisely. Because excessive desire often morphs into greed, an exaggerated kind of bottomless form of desire.
And the irony.
The irony is that greed, even though it's motivated by wanting to get something, is not satisfied by getting it. It just becomes limitless and ultimately self-defeating.
So contentment is the antidote. If you cultivate a strong sense of contentment, your happiness isn't conditional anymore on getting that thing.
Exactly. It becomes internal. So, since we've established that happiness is fundamentally a function of the mind, well, it follows that it must be achievable through training the mind, through discipline.
Okay.
And the Dalai Lama fully endorses this. He states clearly that inner transformation is possible through sustained effort. Learning is key. Identifying which emotions, like hatred, are harmful and which, like kindness, are actually beneficial.
But is this just, spiritual philosophy? Is there hard proof that the adult brain is actually malleable enough? Can we undo years of negative conditioning and build new, happier habits?
Well, science absolutely confirms the feasibility of this mental transformation. It's because of what we call brain plasticity.
Plasticity. Right.
Our sources really emphasize that our brains aren't static organs. They possess this capacity to be shaped and changed by our intentions and our actions throughout our entire lives.
Do we have specific scientific evidence? Like, can we see the brain changing as wiring?
Yes, we do. Neuroscientists like Dr. Carney and Dr. Underleiter did experiments at the National Institutes of Mental Health. They had subjects perform a simple, repetitive finger tapping exercise every day. Just finger tapping.
Okay.
After only 4 weeks of practice, an MRI showed that the area of the brain involved in that task had physically expanded. It actually recruited new nerve cells to help out.
Wow. Expanded. So that neural expansion is the actual physiological basis for overcoming negative habits.
Exactly. And replacing them with positive conditioning, you are literally physically reshaping your brain through consistent practice.
Okay, but this is where the hard work comes in, isn't it?
Absolutely. It requires persistence, discipline, sustained effort. We shouldn't expect a single technique or some secret key to solve everything instantly.
Right. No magic bullet.
No. The Dalai Lama himself noted that inner change is gradual. It took him, he said, more than 40 years. It requires constant familiarization, building that mental muscle over time.
Okay, here's where it gets really interesting. Where the East and the West truly seem to converge. The single most significant principle linking this ancient tradition and modern science seems to be this inextricable two-way link between your personal happiness and your capacity for compassion and caring for others.
Yes, it's a loop. Increased happiness seems to lead to greater compassion, and crucially, greater compassion leads directly back to greater happiness.
And we have actual neuroscience backing this up.
We have compelling research, yes. Largely thanks to the work of Dr. Richard Davidson at the University of Wisconsin, he measured activity in the left prefrontal cortex.
And that's the happiness region.
It's strongly associated with positive emotional states, yes. Happiness, enthusiasm, joy.
So what happened when he studied the monks, the ones who'd spent thousands of hours training their minds?
Well, he found that their average activity levels in that happiness region were, get this, the highest he had ever seen, and by a huge margin, essentially off the chart.
Off the chart, compared to average people.
Way off the chart. But the finding became even more dramatic.
How so?
When one highly trained monk was asked to perform an intensive Buddhist meditation specifically focused on compassion,
Okay.
the act immediately caused a dramatic leftward shift in his prefrontal function. It lit up that happiness region even further.
Wow.
Davidson's conclusion was clear. The very act of concern for others' well-being creates a greater sense of well-being within oneself.
Okay, but wait, that's a highly trained Tibetan monk?
Yeah.
For the average listener, how realistic is it to expect, a neurological shift just from trying to be kind? Is altruism really the source of personal happiness for the rest of us?
It seems so, absolutely. Our sources confirm this with experiments designed for everyday people, not just monks.
Like what?
Well, Dr. Sanjo Lubomirsky ran an experiment asking subjects to perform 5 random acts of kindness. Just 5 acts, 1 day a week.
Okay, seems manageable.
Very. After only 6 weeks, those subjects experienced a significant, measurable increase in their overall happiness and life satisfaction compared to a control group.
Just from doing 5 kind things once a week.
Exactly. It proves that deliberately cultivating kindness makes you tangibly happier. It works for regular people, too.
This really shifts the definition of psychological health, then.
It really does. The Dalai Lama defines a psychologically healthy person primarily as a compassionate, warm, kind-hearted person.
Not just, free from neurosis, but actively compassionate.
Right. And this isn't just moral advice, it's practical psychological advice. He argues that maintaining that feeling of warmth automatically opens your inner door.
Opens your inner door.
Yeah, it dispels fear, self-doubt, insecurity. It naturally fosters trust with the world around you. That fundamental openness, he suggests, is the cornerstone of mental stability. It makes you less vulnerable.
Okay, so knowing that happiness is this internal skill rooted in compassion. Let's talk application. How do we apply this knowledge day to day? How do we deal with the unavoidable obstacles like, say, debilitating worry or pain or imperfect relationships?
Right, good questions. Let's start with worry. It paralyzes so many people. The Dalai Lama offers a very direct, almost classic cognitive intervention.
Okay.
It forces you to confront the situation head on. First, you must assess. Can the problem be remedied? Is there something you can actually do about it?
Right.
If the answer is yes, if it can be remedied, then there is absolutely no need to worry. Your energy should be focused entirely on the solution, not wasted on anxiety.
Focus on action, not angst.
Okay.
And the second step, that must address the things we can't change.
Exactly. If there is no solution, no possibility of resolution or remedy, then there is also no point in worrying about it.
Because you can't do anything anyway.
Precisely. Worrying won't change the unchangeable, so the formula demands acceptance in that case. It relieves you of that crushing pressure to control the uncontrollable.
That's deceptively simple but powerful.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, shifting to relationships. We in the West, we often idealize romantic love, right?
Yeah.
Put it on this pedestal as the ultimate source of intimacy and happiness.
Mm.
But the Dalai Lama suggests this idealized romantic love can actually be an extreme, even a source of frustration. Why?
Because, he argues, it's often based on projection and fantasy, not on the reality of the other person. We fall in love with an idealized image.
Right. And that image can't hold up.
Exactly. So the foundation for a lasting connection, therefore, must be genuine compassion. It has to be based on mutual respect and dignity as two human beings.
Not just attachment.
Not just unstable emotional or sexual attachment, which can be conditional and fluctuate wildly. Compassion provides that reliable foundation you need for a long-term bond.
That makes sense. Okay, and one of the most maybe pernicious sources of suffering is the stuff we create ourselves, the endless rumination.
Oh, absolutely.
We heard about the gentleman who was still fuming about his ex-wife 17 years after the divorce. That's pure self-inflicted misery, isn't it?
Totally self-created. The key here, according to the sources, is the ability to shift perspective, to look at an event from a much wider viewpoint.
How does that help?
Well, when you focus too closely on a problem, it appears huge, overwhelming, uncontrollable. But if you deliberately step back, maybe compare it to other greater sufferings in the world, or just look at it from a distance in time,
It shrinks.
it immediately appears smaller, less overwhelming. Its intensity diminishes. This ability to gain distance reduces the event's power over you. It's about perspective control.
Okay, finally, let's discuss one specific powerful spiritual practice mentioned, this radical empathy exercise known as the Tonglen visualization technique. What exactly is its purpose?
Tonglen literally means taking and giving. Its purpose is to radically strengthen compassion, to directly challenge our default self-centeredness.
How does it work?
You visualize actively taking on others' suffering. You might picture their poverty, their disease, their starvation, and imagine absorbing it into yourself.
Absorbing suffering, that sounds intense.
It is. You might visualize it as, say, poisonous smoke or weapons coming into you, completely destroying your own habitual selfish attitudes. And then simultaneously, you visualize giving away your own success, your happiness, your virtues, your good fortune to those in need.
Taking their bad, giving your good.
Exactly. It's a profound mental exercise in substituting yourself for others, directly cultivating that compassionate impulse. Hashtag tag outro.
So we've covered quite a bit, this convergence of science and spirituality. Understanding that happiness really is internal, that the brain is trainable through persistence. And maybe most importantly, that intentional kindness actually creates profound neurological well-being. It's not just nice, it's beneficial for you.
Right. But the search for genuine, lasting happiness isn't passive. It requires conviction, determination, and consistent action. It's work.
It is work. And the final unifying thought we uncovered relates back to the very nature of suffering itself.
Yeah, consider the work of Dr. Paul Brand on physical pain. He was a physician who worked with leprosy patients.
Okay.
He argued that physical pain, the kind that warns us of damage, actually unifies the body. Without that pain feedback, our limbs can feel alien, disconnected. We injure ourselves without realizing it. Pain connects us to our physical selves.
Okay, so pain unifies the body. How does that relate?
Well, similarly, our shared experience of emotional suffering, the fact that every human being, regardless of their circumstances, experiences loss, fear, sorrow.
That basic vulnerability.
That is the most basic element that unifies us. It connects us with all living creatures. It's the common ground.
So suffering isn't just something to be avoided. It's actually the thing that connects us all.
That's the profound insight. This could be the ultimate meaning behind suffering. It is what truly connects us, forging a bond that transcends culture, status, everything.
By focusing on that profound shared humanity, that shared vulnerability, we can move towards true, lasting compassion.
And fundamentally change our lives for the happier. It shifts the focus from me to us.
Go forth and explore that inner potential.